Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about and giving you my Leo October 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as October goes, the sun will be in Libra from the 1st until the 23rd. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on communications, siblings, neighbors, cousins, even short journeys, communications. Could even be your early education, perhaps someone prominent in your early education, and also perhaps even just assimilating information. And the thing about this too is now, given that this is going to be done with Libra energy, this could be done with a lot of weighing the pros and cons. Unfortunately, it could be done with a lot of ambivalence and indecision, but also being very charming, tactful, and diplomatic, especially in communications and matters communicating perhaps with siblings, neighbors, and cousins, perhaps as well. Now, also, too, also wanting to be very fair. It could be done with a lot of fair-minded energy, being very equitable, dispersing energy evenly, and being, as I stated, being very fair-minded, which, of course, is Libra, very strong Libra energy. So, and also bouncing, perhaps, intellectual sociability, and also bouncing ideas off others. Libra energy could often be about ingratiating oneself. So if there's any kind of like group, maybe in your neighborhood or something, or people in your neighborhood, it might be a time where you might be deciding to do so, and really be and really strongly be about intellectual sociability and exchanging intelligent ideas with neighbors, perhaps. So anyway. Next thing up is, as far as October goes, the sun will be in Scorpio from the 23rd until the 31st. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, there could be very strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on the home, the family life, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, the latter part of life, emotional security, roots, ancestry, traditions, even also who you are at the core. So, and given that this is Scorpio energy, this could be done with a lot of like deep digging, figuratively speaking, going beyond subterfuge and superficiality, and it could be especially matters with family members, digging deep perhaps into your roots, into your ancestry, and also done with a lot of could even be transforming energy, and with a lot of emotional, you could say emotional intensity and resourcefulness as well. And also, given its Scorpio energy, a lot of willful and intractable energy at the same time. And anyway, well, the next thing up, there will be a new moon in Libra on October 8th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Leo. So at this time, well, this could be, in some cases, this could be the beginning of a new Libra type writing. It could be something connected with something connected with the law, justice, fairness, something associated maybe with some kind of beauty. It could be on something connected with relationships. It also could be perhaps in some cases, the welcoming of a new sibling, a new Libra sibling, perhaps at this time. It could also be maybe the welcoming of a new Libra cousin, and also, or maybe even a new Libra neighbor. And if it's a new Libra neighbor, it could be somebody that could be a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Libra characteristics. And also to the beginning, perhaps, of maybe having balanced communications at this time as well with many people, and also perhaps it could be the beginning perhaps of having very you might be deciding on more diplomatic, tactful communication, perhaps with siblings, with neighbors, with cousins at this time, or the beginning of a reconciliation, perhaps, or compromise with with something third house related. It could be a cousin, sibling, or neighbor, or someone you know in your short journeys, perhaps, or maybe even somebody that you may have known in your early education. So anyway. Next thing up, there will be a full moon in Taurus on October 24th, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this could manifest in a multitude of ways. This could be the completion or culmination of some kind of Taurus career endeavor or project. It could be something connected with architecture, doing some with stockbroking, cultivation, banking, one of the actual money professions. It could be where maybe you've accumulated enough funds to maybe to start your own business, perhaps. Another way this could manifest, perhaps in some cases, this could be about where you might become tired or exasperated or just had enough of maybe somebody that might be rather acquisitive, overly avaricious or greedy, stubborn, obstinate. It could be a dominant parent, which is often the father, an authority figure, someone prominent in your career. Could even be somebody that's played a pivotal role in your public image or reputation. Also, could be, in some cases, the full moon could be manifest in an unveiling or revelation. This could be a revelation of perhaps somebody prominent in your career that's showing very greedy or acquisitive type characteristics, or a dominant parent that may be doing so. And also, too, it could be also about putting a lot of full, powerful, persistent, and stubborn energy maybe into your career, and maybe even improving your stature in life and in your social status at this time. So anyway, next thing up is, okay, Mercury will be in Libra as far as October goes, from the 1st until the 9th, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. This could be a time where you might find yourself having a very balanced communications with siblings, cousins, neighbors. Another way this could manifest, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also, it's not just about communication, it could be about siblings as well. So a way this could manifest perhaps is that Libra siblings might figure more prominently in your communications, your short journeys, maybe activities with neighbors at this time, maybe assimilating information. They could be Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Libra-like characteristics. Now, another way this could manifest too, since we're talking about Mercury in Libra and the 3rd house, you might find yourself also talking, really weighing the pros and cons, and having certain perhaps ambivalence and indecision on 3rd house matters. It could be about taking short journeys, where you're going to go. It could be perhaps matters with siblings, with neighbors or cousins, even matters perhaps connected with early education. With Mercury in Libra in the 3rd house being emphasized, it's obviously could be a thing where you could be really doing a lot more talking than usual, and really in balancing that communication very evenly. This could be a time where you might be wanting to really a strong point in learning a lot and trying to assimilate a lot of information. Perhaps. So you're talking about Mercury and the planet of communication in the 3rd house, of course, which governs communication. So anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Scorpio as far as October goes, from the 9th until the 31st. So the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, you might find yourself having more provocative, deep, incisive communications, perhaps with family members, people that you're close to home with. It could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. And also, too, this is about, I mean, where you might remember, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communication. So it could be that Scorpio siblings might have maybe play a figure prominently more so in your home life, more so than usual. Perhaps in maybe helping you get involved more in your traditions. Perhaps. It could be where they might be helping you get in touch with your roots more. They could be Scorpio, Moon, Sun, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio-like characteristics. Now, this also could be the way this could manifest, perhaps, is that your mind might be more probing at this time and wanting to dig deep into, like, perhaps your ancestry, into your roots. At this time, and really being more insightful, going beyond subterfuge and superficiality, and people prominent in your home life. It could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, someone that you're close to home with, and also some deep thinking into who you are at the core, perhaps, is another way this could manifest. Anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Scorpio this month. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. It will be retrograde from like the 6th till the 31st. So anyway, this could be about having enjoyment in Scorpio-like games with people, with your family, people you're close to home with. It could be doing some kind of astrology game or a Ouija board, something that could be Scorpio like. And also, if you're unattached at this time, Leo, you might connect with the Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics. It could be with someone you feel really close to home with. It could be somebody that might figure prominently at the latter part of your life. It might be someone that's introduced to you by a family member. Now, given that it's going to be retrograde for a good part of the month, it could be going back to a Scorpio relationship or somebody that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics that might have been very prominent in your home life at one time. And also, too, you might really value going deep into who you are at the core at this time, and you might spend money somewhat secretively, maybe trying to find out about your roots at this time as well, and being secretive over expenditures that are connected with the end of life, the latter part of life. And it's about and also valuing peace at the latter part of life, and privacy, given that this is Scorpio energy. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Sorry about that. Next thing up, though, Mars will be in Aquarius. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, at this particular time, you might find yourself getting into more contentious situations with friends. There might be fights with friends that might be tied into some kind of legal issues. You might become angry at some kind of idiosyncratic, unusual, bizarre behavior, perhaps from a grandmother or a significant other. It could be others in general, important relationships. And also, too, on a positive note, though, it could be about putting a lot of vitality and energy into innovation, computers, electronics, unusual things, even aerospace, astronomy. And could be done with a significant other or somebody you might be in some kind of a business partnership with, doing these things with others in general. And also, too, about putting a lot of selfless and humanitarian energy into others, with others in general, doing things for others at this time with that kind of Aquarius-like energy. So anyway, next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be about attaining certain luck and fortune, perhaps through making a major transformation at home. It could be through some remodeling or renovation, and also going beyond subterfuge and superficiality with home, family members, maybe perhaps the less dominant parent, people that you're close to home with, and also digging very deep into getting in touch with your roots, perhaps by digging deep and doing a lot of investigating. Also, too, this could be about adopting perhaps a very profound philosophy about the end and latter part of the life, and also it could be where you might be experiencing, showing a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm, doing Scorpio-like things at home. It could be something connected with occult, astrology, the supernatural, magic, some kind of recycling, perhaps something connected with transformation, such as rebuilding vehicles, something that could be a Scorpio related. So anyway, next thing up is, and I want to say too, the one thing I didn't get to, sorry about that, going back to Jupiter and Scorpio in the fourth house being emphasized and highlighted again, that Jupiter can also be rather paradoxical, as I've stated previously. Jupiter can be very benign and benevolent, but could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this can expand and enlarge perhaps nefarious, surreptitious, and even manipulative behavior by people you're close to home with, family members, at the less dominant parent. So anyway, well, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you may be dealing with certain health restrictions and limitations at this time, and might be it could be something connected with something with the knees, the bones, or the joints. And also, it might be making you feel somewhat melancholy and despondent. You might be taking care of an aunt or uncle or somebody in your place of employment that might be rather debilitated or sickly. And that could be making you feel somewhat dejected as well. And it could be something, again, connected with the knees, the bones, or the joints. Now, also, too, this could be about adopting perhaps some structure or injecting some structure and discipline in your daily routine and your health life, and also about taking more responsibility to your health. Maybe matters with an aunt or an uncle, and maybe also your employment as well at this time. Now, the thing about this, too, is that you might be also feeling, I mean, this could also be some... you're talking about, I mean, restrictions with Saturn, and you're talking about the sixth house. It could also be the way this could well, actually, what I want to get at, total about restrictions and limitations. I mean, this could also be about older people figuring more prominently in your daily routine at this time. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, you might find yourself showing more unusual persistence and perseverance, more so in career-related matters. Taurus friendships might figure prominently, more so when you're trying to help you with your stature in life, or your perhaps your reputation, your public image. They could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. It could be where a dominant parent or an authority figure might be showing an unusual, obstinate, or stubborn nature at this time. You might be, another way this could manifest, though, this could be about the formulation of new ways to make money that could help improve your social status and stature in life. Career-related matters may be somewhat erratic and sporadic at this time, but you might find yourself doing something career-related that may be something Uranus-related. Could be something connected with astrology, another esoteric subject. Could be astronomy, aerospace, computers, electronics, and even innovation. So anyway, Well, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be a time where perhaps you might find yourself with a sexual partner, or someone you're in an intimate relationship might seem somewhat nebulous and unclear. You might be more susceptible to some kind of insurance or credit card fraud at this time. There might be some deception, duplicity in these matters, and also be careful not to succumb to being delusional over a shared resources situation, thinking you're going to maybe get more out of something from somebody in a situation like that than you actually are. For example, you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to get this is going to be like a even Steven, a 50-50 split, and it winds up being where 90% of these things might be yours, and then only 10% of the other for the other person, as an example. You might find at this time that your emotional support, moral, emotional support, monetary support might be dissipating and dissolving. And especially, if this is making, say, like an adverse aspect to your natal Venus, or even second house ruler, the monetary support is what could actually, you might really be feeling that very strong at this time. And also, you might be dealing with more confounding and confusing issues connected with taxes, insurance, or alimony. Now, on a positive note, this could be about maybe making some kind of spiritual transformation, or maybe with the help of the metaphysical, which could include astrology at this time. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Sorry about that once again. Next thing up, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. Now, in some cases, this could be about the actual literal death of an aunt or an uncle. It could be somebody prominent in your health life, in your employment life, sometimes the death of a pet. Also, too, this might feel like this could be like some kind of obliteration in connection with your health. But remember that when something ends, often with Pluto, it could often be revived and resurrected. Pluto is about rebirth and regeneration as well. So it could be a period where you might be going through, you feel like your health might be coming to an end, but it could be about regeneration and coming back as far as your health goes as well. Now, also too, it could be where you might be dealing with some kind of upheavals and power struggles with people at your place of employment. Guard against obsessive and compulsive issues at this time as well in your daily routine. Now, this could be about somehow transforming yourself, health related. I can remember when I had Pluto's actually transiting my literal 6th house, my actual natal chart, when I started to work out vigorously. But at the same time, just avoid work-related, doing something where it might become more overly obsessive as something in your daily routine. And unfortunately, that's what started to happen with me with the working out that I started to do when this was hitting my 6th house in my chart. But guarding, transforming yourself through a health-wise is okay, but just don't become overly obsessed to it where it just dominates you, where at the exclusion of everything else. Now, also, too, another way that this could manifest, this could be also about maybe exhibiting power and control, perhaps at your place of employment. And also, too, remember the 6th house is also about service as well. So just try to avoid maybe any power or manipulative issues over service-related things, such as saying, well, I'm not going to be able to service you for whatever, unless you do such and such. So you might be experiencing some manipulative behavior as far as things of a service-related matter goes. So just be wary of that. Next thing up, the North Node will be in Leo still. So the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Well, this could manifest, I mean, when you're talking about the North Node in astrology and transit, it could be about issues that one may have to address and confront. So in this case, you may have to wind up, I mean, it might be about confronting perhaps a domineering, overbearing, arrogant, egotistical, perhaps even bombastic person, maybe from your early childhood. It could have been somebody that might have been helpful at one time to you in new beginnings. Also, you might be directed toward taking a lot of pride and dignity in making a good first impression. It could be over, like, say, getting a new employment with a potential supervisor. This could be also about being directed toward new beginnings that could be Leo-like. It could be something connected to cardiology, something with theater, acting, some kind of drama, working with children, something of a creative endeavor, or sports related even. And also about presenting yourself with a lot of self-assuredness and confidence, and also and really going after new beginnings with fortitude and courage and confidence and self-assuredness at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Aquarius, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, one way that the Black Moon Lilith, the way this could manifest, in some cases, this could be about a very formidable Aquarius adversary that might emerge. It could be an Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Aquarius-like characteristics. When you're talking about the 7th house of open adversaries, that's kind of a double whammy. And it could be maybe a legal opponent. This could actually wind up being maybe somebody that you were in a relationship with. It could have been a significant other, the grandmother in some cases. Another thing, too, is that a 7th house person might be showing some kind of really bizarre, idiosyncratic, really unusual type behavior at this time. And when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, it also could be about something that comes out of the bag, so to speak, that you don't want to come out of the bag, but it does anyway for whatever reason. And this could be about maybe in some cases an unusual or unorthodox relationship you might be involved in with somebody. It could be a business connection that you might be involved in. Some case it could be a legal matter that may have taken place that was somewhat bizarre, unusual, that you didn't really want anybody to know about, but it does come out of the bag again, so to speak. So, and also anyway. Well, last but not least, Chiron will be in Pisces still, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, this could be about, I mean, you're talking about Chiron, this could be about emotional, physical wounds. In some cases, I mean, given this is the 8th house, it could be about some kind of surgery that might take place that connected with the feet or the toes, perhaps as an example. That might be causing you some it could be some physical suffering, some cases emotional wounds by not being maybe limited in what you can do, as an example, maybe due to the surgery. But a lot of this could be, in many cases, about dealing with emotional wounds connected with deception and duplicity, perhaps from a sexual partner, someone you're in an intimate relationship with, or maybe being overly passive in dealing with crisis situations and maybe making a major change or transformation. It might be about dealing with some suffering, succumbing to some kind of insurance or credit card fraud, and also about dealing perhaps with the dissipation or dissolving of emotional, moral, or monetary support, even in connection with a shared resources situation. And also too, maybe being, it could be being overly, I mean, you're talking about this about Chiron and Pisces and the 8th house, and it could really be about being maybe overly delusional in terms of what moral support, emotional, monetary support you were going to get. You might have thought you were going to get a lot, for example, and maybe didn't really get half as much as you anticipated. And remember, Pisces is about self-sacrificing energy. You might feel that you're giving so much and really not receiving a lot in return, and that could be causing some emotional suffering. But remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. So in ways that you might be going through some emotional suffering and going through some issues in connection with Chiron and Pisces and the 8th house, you may be able to help others out deal with comparable situations, and do so with a lot of Pisces empathy, compassion, self-sacrifice, and even idealism. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Leo October 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Virgo October 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.